The quiet after the storm is truly like no other. Neighbors returning to a place that no longer looks like home still doesn't feel the same. Yet something about disasters tends to bring people together. Emergency RV is one organization that stepped in to help those left without a place to stay.
We've lived in a hotel. I've lived in the basement at my mom's house in a tiny little 2-bedroom, all of us cramped together. It's heartbreaking to see families still in tents in this weather.
We just got discharged from the hospital into a homeless shelter. We weren't going to have that.
Excited for your grandparents?
Yeah!
Yeah, they got a place to stay?
Yeah!
You know how you do something, like you said, you feel led to do it. It was just the right thing to do.
More than happy to help out.
I'm just thankful for the Emergency RV to donate this camper to us.
Woody Faircloth, founder of Emergency RV, joins us now on Weather Command. You know, that's just a little touch of so many Americans that you have impacted. First, can we start with Helene? You know, you were there on the ground. Tell us about that impact and what you saw.
Yeah, it was devastating. I grew up in North Carolina, so that really hit close to home for me. But one of the first people we heard that needed shelter was a 103-year-old World War II veteran in Yankeetown, Florida, right there on the Big Bend. He had 12 feet of water in his house, and he was sleeping in his truck, and that's just not okay. So we got him the first RV we delivered to a Helene family and took care of that veteran.
Wow. I mean, the stories of the people that you've helped, and that will be transferred down generation to generation. You truly are saving families here. When it comes to natural disasters, a lot of times power gets knocked out, especially with Helene. I mean, so isolated for some of these areas up into Appalachia. What are some of the obstacles that you faced in trying to connect and deliver these RVs? I mean, we also know that infrastructure was a huge problem with roads trying to get into some of the mountainous areas.
You know, everyone's really a miracle that we get delivered, and it's more than just me. It's my daughter, and we've got a whole army of volunteers and donors that help all over the country. We delivered over 120 RVs to Western North Carolina to families who lost their home, just out of the generosity of fellow Americans. Through our nonprofit Emergency RV, we can give RV donors, RVs that are in good working order, the full appraised value as a tax deduction, or if somebody wants to buy an RV for a family, we can process that for them as a tax deduction. And it's just amazing when Americans come together and help each other. It's just the most beautiful work. But the logistics are crazy, and everyone is an absolute miracle that we get it there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think for a lot of people, it's hard to put yourself in that position and truly understand what that is like. You look at the images, you're heartbroken, you want to help. Many Americans are helping. But for somebody that's trying to rebuild their home, to have an RV on their land so they can work hard every day, but then come home and be with their family is something that is untangibly beautiful.
It really is. You know, FEMA put a bunch of people in hotels, but the hotels are scattered all over the state. And, you know, people need to be home. You know, home is home, even if your house is gone. And, you know, people want to be near where they work and earn a living, and they want their kids to go to the same schools. And so we just like to get people home, and so they can have a chance to eventually rebuild. But, you know, a lot of these families didn't have flood insurance. It had never flooded here in memory. And so a lot of these families will live in these RVs for the foreseeable future, and they're just happy to be home. We hear from them all the time about how grateful they are, and you know, that's why we do this work. It's just, it could happen to any one of us at any time, and you know, you never think it'd happen to you, but we've seen firsthand so many families that it's happened to, and we're just happy to have a platform where we can help folks out.
Yeah, we've spoken to you and even your daughter on Fox Weather so many times, but for maybe some new viewers, can you talk a little bit about what inspired this effort? I love that it's a father-daughter duo that was the brains behind this entire operation, just speaking to the power of family and what that can do for fellow Americans.
Yeah, in 2018, after the Camp Fire destroyed Paradise, California, I think 183 people died in that fire. We were just sitting at home, you know, watching the news, and we saw a story about a man who drove his RV away from his home as his home was burning down. His neighbors got killed in the fire, and he just made a comment that he was so grateful to have a place to call home for Thanksgiving, and pointed at his RV. And I just turned to my daughter and said, "Hey, let's get an RV and drive it to California from Colorado and give it to a family so they have a place to call home for Thanksgiving." And she had the biggest smile, said, "God and Santa Claus are going to be so proud of us for doing that, Dad." And So we hit the road, and we've been doing it ever since. We've helped over 350 families all over the country with shelter following natural disasters. We sent 8 to Maui to help some of the 18 firefighters who lost their homes. We got free shipping on a ship. It's just a miracle that happened. And it's incredible work, and we just love to do it. And we're continuing to do it. We'll deliver an RV this week to a family in Western North Carolina whose home has just been overtaken by mold. And, that's not okay. And there's just not a lot of solutions for these folks. And this is just a wonderful thing where people can come together and help each other.
So Woody, tell us a little bit about how we can find you. For our viewers that are watching this interview, how can they find Emergency RV, whether they have an RV they can donate or maybe some time or money?
Sure. You can come to our website, which is emergencyrv.org. All of our social media channels are at EmergencyRV. And just reach out to us. Tell us how you'd like to help. We need help with transport. We need trucks to help move some of these RVs all over the country. We need RVs that are in good working order. And if you have one that you're just not using anymore, we can give you the full appraised values. The tax deduction is probably a lot more than you'll be able to sell it for. And it's just we'll gift it to these families who need shelter. And we prioritize first responders and veterans who lose their homes, but we'll help any family based on need with shelter.
And, we just have touched on so many communities, Paradise, California, Maui, the Appalachians, and all the way down to the Florida Big Bend when you were sharing that touching story of that veteran, over 100 years old, needing a home after losing it to Helene. So, Woody, thank you so much for the love that's in your heart, for the love of your daughter as well. That is Woody Faircloth, founder of Emergency RV. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on Fox Weather.
Thank you.